Well, a very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Flight Sims live stream. So it's the 7th of November 2025. It's 34 minutes past 3 in the afternoon. We're back in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, the PMDG 7374 out. I think it's 4th or 5th failure episode. I only like to do these occasionally because they're flipping hard work. For those of you who are new to this format, what we do is we utilise the PMDG's inbuilt failure system. And we maximise the amount of failures we can have in a period of time, which is 60 in 10 hours, which equates to an average of failure every 10 minutes. We're flying from Innsbruck to Reus. The flight time is 1 hour 40 minutes, so we should have in that flight time, if we make it to Reus, 14 independent failures. The failures aren't linked in any way. The chances of happening are impossible, but it gives you an opportunity to see how I deal with such a stressful situation based off my experience. It should be a good laugh. Simba UK, thank you very much. 11 months as a member. Can't believe it's nearly been a year. Even with Domino's awful jokes, it's been an awesome 11 months. Here's to many more. Thank you very much, Simba UK, for your continued support. Hope you're doing well. I don't know how you can put up with Domino Mosina's continuous jokes. They sort of go right over the top of my head. Number of birds he's received a Discord, I've lost count. But anyway, here we are. We're in Innsbruck. This is just default scenery. I think Innsbruck is included in one of the SimWorld updates, but interestingly, there's no apron markings. But here we are in Alpaca Airways 737, currently fully serviceable. We only activate the failures just before the takeoff rolls. We'll line up on the runway, turn on the failure system, because obviously there could be certain failures which would prohibit us from starting the flight in the first place. But yes, what is it? 1 hour 40 minutes from Innsbruck to Reus. Lifetime live weather, so first time we've ever done one of these with a lot of terrain around, so hopefully nothing too serious on the initial departure, because I have no information on engine failure procedures after takeoff for Innsbruck. The operator doesn't fly from this airport. Anyway, who else do we have here in chat? Sim737 pilot, nice. Microsoft Paint looking apron, yes, looking a bit default here, hope you're doing well. Isaac Aviation, oh, we should do the max out of Innsbruck, bird strike and LRD activation after rotation, lovely. Fire and smoke to deal with when engine failure, good idea. Brendan, thanks for 30 months as a member. What are the chances we don't make it out of the valley? Well, the last time we did one of these, we had an engine fire. It was out of New York, wasn't it? About 5 minutes after takeoff. The previous failure episodes, we had no engine failures at all, so you never know what could happen. It's completely random. Who else did a membership ping? I think it was Ricardo joined as a member before the start of the stream. If you're around, thank you very much for your support, and really appreciate it. Who else we got here? Domino Mosina. I like your jokes too, Anthony Teal, especially those about a bold pilot. Where's Anthony? What's he piped up about here? He said, I happen to like your jokes. Anthony, brilliant. Thank you very much, both of you, for being around today. John Powerfield says your luck's in, Skipper. It should be okay today. There's a chance we buzz a few pies. Yes, going out of Innsbruck, my first ever attempt here, we got a little bit close to the mountains, didn't we, if I remember, in the Zebra mod. That was some time ago, Anthony. I do remember it fondly, though. I love the opening picture with the undercarriage wheel flying off. Brilliant. Cheers, Stuart Little. Yes, a little bit of editing. I had a different format previously, and thanks for everyone's understanding for the reason we delayed this from Wednesday to today. Sim737 pilot, great way to take a break from my new PC build. Lots more cords now compared to 25 years ago. Gosh, you must be covered in cables down there. Hope you're doing well. Cheers, Joshini. Yes, we'll see what we have today. I'll never let you forget. Cheers, Anthony. Unbelievable. Right, we are live on VATSIM, so if we do have any ATC to deal with, we'll just, declare PANs and Maydays, and, we'll a lot of the decisions I make will try to keep it as realistically as possible, but if you guys want me for a laugh to try to continue or limp on to destination, I might do, just for a bit of fun, but we'll just see how things pan out. I just have no clue. I've got the QRH here, I've got everything set up, like MCP cam, I've got yoke cam, I've got my operator's QRH all here, beautiful in pink for the NG, I've got my work iPad here to refer to the flight crew training manual if I need to, but yeah, we've always survived these flights, but who knows what could possibly go wrong today. Anyway, completely cold and dark. Batteries on, GPUs on the bus. Now electric hydraulic pumps we can pop on, landing gear levers down. We then check all the ship's library and the aircraft documentation. Let me just make sure I've got the sim turned up, because it does sound very quiet in here. There we are. That's all good. Fault and fire test. As mentioned, the failures are off until I push TOGA. So we should have a fully serviceable aircraft for dispatch today. Nothing in the hills. Master caution, overheat detector is checked. No, the fault light's illuminated. Fire test, wheel well, fire warning light, bell, and the light is illuminated too. Goodness knows how many of those will go off today. Seatbelt sign is going to come on momentarily. We'll start the boarding for these brave souls. Request boarding. We'll have Innsbruck Airport services come to our aid to start with the boarding process. Oh, there we are. Bit of a freeze, but looks like the stairs are attaching as we speak. So yeah, I'll just show you our operational flight plan brief here if I bring up Navigraph. So I'm going to depart off runway 07. I think there was some arrivals, sorry, 08. I think there were some arrivals on 26 here, but yeah, initially over the Alps, northern Italy, flying just south of Milan. We've got options if it gets critical to get into Nice, Marseille en route, and then Girona via onwards to Reus. Reus we've done a stream into before, I think. It's one of the 3 airports that serve Barcelona. You've got the main one, Girona here to the north, and then Reus to the west. So all of those airports I've been into in real life. So yeah, that's the plan, and the weather is actually really nice. So you know what? No significant change here. TAF fine. No en route weather as far as I know. Forecast at destination right now is Cav OK. The forecast is showing thunderstorms after 2200 Zulu, so we should be way in before that, with the rain starting at 2200. So you know, based off this weather forecast, I'd be taking standard block fuel. Excuse me. 6836 will last for 7 tons of fuel here as well. Will the muting might be one of the failures today? Probably. Brilliant. Right, based off that requirement for the fuel, we're not fueled yet, so I'll leave the seatbelt sign off. Flaps are up, which match the indicated position. Just do a quick takeoff config warning check, and cargo fire test. Forward aft. Oops, hold it down so I can actually complete the test. Forward aft discharge, and hear the bell, and I'm sure the fire warning lights are illuminated. Good, transponders 2000 standby, rudder air trims 3 and 0, gear extension, handle, gear pins are in their stowed and located position, circuit breakers are all in, overhead panel up here then, just want to make sure the voice recorder's on. We'll just turn on the dome lights, it's getting a bit dark here. We've only just turned on the aircraft, so it will take a bit longer for the stall warning test to be available. Alignment's going to take around probably 7-8 minutes at this latitude. It should come on straight away, really. Why is that being a bit delayed? Oh, there we are. It's doing some sort of self-tests. Maybe I've got the quick alignment on. I'm not sure. Circuit breakers are in. Check the tech log, fully serviceable. And if I look outside, the passengers have started boarding this ill-fated flight to Reus. There we go. On yellow buses. Brilliant. Isaac says, I'm already having popcorn flavoured ice cream in preparation for the madness. Brilliant. E-Aviation C7M just got my final engineering mock exam today. Fantastic. Best of luck, and I hope you do well when you take your actual exam. Fantastic. Right, so let's just see what the situation is with ATC. We've got Munich online, so nearby, but not actually covering this sector. We'll hide that here. So, oxygen... Aircraft status I've checked. That's all good. Light test. You can be quite lucky with some of these failures, because historically some of the failures I've had have been sort of monitoring systems. For example, the loops which detect overheat and fire situations, they failed, so there'd been no indication of that in the flight deck. So detection systems for fires and faults, they can fail. So hopefully we'll get all of those today and nothing else. Right, light test is done. Oxygen, lighting. You adjust your seat and rudder. Check your radio tuning panels are on Unicom. For departure here, we're going to need some ILS, so 1097 for DME for departure. There's 2 NDBs to use as well, so 1097 is active. We only have 1 ADF tuner, so the first NDB we're going to fly to is RUM 320, which is active, and then we're going to make a right turn to the Innsbruck NDB, which is 420. Oops. 420. Perfect, and then I can use my MCP here to turn on ADF on both EFIS panels, which you can't actually see me do, but there we are. I have selected ADF for departure. Superb. Right, so let's now select traffic and traffic on the EFIS panels, and we can now load the flight management computer. So FMC, latest ARIC installed, POS in it, we're in LOWI, which is Innsbruck. Yeah, I do have the quick alignment set up on. GPS left, route LOWI, flight plan request. So as mentioned, we've got the Simbury flight plan here. Cruising at flight level 350, we'll set the payload and set the fuel. However, we're just going to round the fuel up to 7 tons, which is exactly what we would have selected or requested there, just to make sure we do push back with at least minimum block fuel of 6836. So we'll just get the flight plan requested. Sounds like we've got another bus of passengers coming. Full load, 185 passengers, and in fact it just reminded me we'll set up New Sky in a second as well. So loading in the flight plan. It's a bit slow, isn't it? Usually a bit quicker for that. Perfect, that's in. Activate, execute, legs page, sorry, init ref. No, sorry, menu, FS actions, fuel. 7 tons, we're just going to round up. There we are, that's complete. And for later, we'll just make sure we've got FS actions, no, it's PMDG setup, aircraft failures, all systems, and then we're going to select random, and then we'll put in the maximum, which is it won't let you go higher than 60, so 59 is what you have to put in. We won't limit the events, and we'll go from there. Wonderful, right. What's the local QNH here? It is 1010, so I can press the magic B button, select this to hectopascals anyway. 1009 in the sim, and let's set both sides. Oh, I've got no engine failure information about Innsbruck, so I just need to select the... Oh gosh, it's the old school original non-fans FMC here. I haven't seen this for ages. 08 Breno 2 Juliet, execute arrivals. It'll be straight in off Isla Zulu 25, Jeroma 2 Mike via Villafranca, execute. So there should be no discontinuities there. Wonderful. Right, 0 fuel weights in, 58.5. That's based off a load of 185 passengers and a few checked in bags. Reserves for Barcelona are alternate 2.3. Cost index 30, cruising at 35,000 feet. Execute. If I look here on the overhead panel, we've got 35,000 feet and the elevation set 250. Average wind 082 at 4 knots. I forgot to mention, guys, streaming later as well. Next overnight stream, overhaul Longhorn, the Tolis A340 for Mexico to Sao Paulo for the next F1 Grand Prix. So that should be all set up, ready to go. Right, that's done. I'll catch up with chat in a second to just get the aircraft set up as best as I can. So performance tool. So import the weight from the aircraft, import the weather, and import the flight information. Runway 08. Calculate. So this is showing no assumed temperature possible. Full takeoff thrust 98.7. So that's 26k full. No assumed temperature because of the performance of all the terrain around it. It's not a very long runway here. So 26k full. So full blast. Flap 5 CG is in 25.4 units. Get the parking brake set as well. So I've got the trim 5.4, so I'm going to push the the brakes in, and the V speeds 38, 39, 47, all within a knot. So that's set. Setting V2 now 147. All right, performance is complete. Overhead panel, yaw dampers on, nav transfer display switch is normal, auto, fuel, no fuel in the centre tank, so just the main pumps on. Don't forget to close the guard for the battery. We'll start the APU because we're going to push back soon. Fueling's done, so seatbelt signs on. Pop on the cabin as well. Imagine the cabin is secure for pushback. Trim air's on. Packs auto. That's all configured and set. Flight directors can come on. So 1, 2. No ATC is going to go straight up to our cruise level of flight level 350, hopefully. And the runway heading and courses are set for departure as well. Water brake to RTO, reset fuel flow, and trim set, radio tuning panel as well. We're pretty much ready for push and start. I've just realised the heading bug. Hey? Oh yes, why is that not set up right? Oh, it is, of course. It's just the routing is an immediate 180 degree turn then south. I'm not used to that. Right then, maybe leave no smoking. off. Folks will need a smoke when the engines drop off. They will do, Lee Russell. Alex said Black Box 711 says for the engine out, Sid, this is great because I don't have any information here for Innsbruck. We might put this in the FMC here. Oh, Quiet Dynamics just coming in, $20. Thank you very much for your donation. That's most generous, what's he said here? No, there's no need.
$5 per failure for the first 4. Your content has been informative and fun.
That's very generous of a Quiet Dynamics, so there's no need. Well, I won't have time to read that, but thank you very much for your generosity. I'm glad you've enjoyed the content, found it informative and fun. Let's see what happens today. And keep that change in your pocket, get yourself something nice. But that's more than generous enough for your $20, buddy. Cheers. Right, let's have a look at this engine out details then. So Black Box says at 7.5 before Oscar Echo Juliet, proceed to localize the course 066 at Oscar Echo Juliet. Let's have a look here at the charts as well. Because operator's not here, we have no information for this. OEJ track 064, 4DME, track 035. Basically, go down the valley here, isn't it? I could put some of this in here, so 066 I'm going to put OEJ 6064, that'll do. OEJ 064. So this is a track loosely based off a real world operator's engine out procedure. So look, we'll fly visually. It's Cav OK here through the valley. There's an aircraft coming in actually, and they're doing the circle, and then we'll just continue towards outbound 064 from Oscar Echo Juliet. Thanks for that, Alex. Really interesting to hear. And then 4 miles east of OEG track 035 and 066. And then hold it. Is it Rattenberg? 303. I'll put Rattenberg on box 2 then. I might actually need it today. This could pay off. There we go. That's all in. Thanks for that. Perfect. Right, I think we're in business here, guys. So routing, just as a quick gross error check. Flight view sim brief. We know the threat's obviously terrain, but weather's not an issue for departure. Ground distance 637. We've got 638, so it's a mile off. Arriving with 2.9. Reserves are 2.3. I've executed the route. We then check all the instrumentation. Engine out said then we'll continue towards Oscar Echo Juliet, and then outbound radial 064 visually. We'll climb up to, well, what's the MSA? 11,600, 10,300 in that sector, 11,000 feet at least, and fly visually through the valley. Taxi briefing, so we're going to depart off runway 08. It's a very short taxi for us. Oops, looking at the wrong point there. So for push back to face west, Alpha backtrack full length runway 08, and then the SID is going to be the Breno to Juliet, which basically has to go straight up airborne to intercept Oscar Echo Juliet course 7.5 to Rum, and then Oscar Echo Juliet, and then a 180 degree turn to the Innsbruck NDB, left turn to Breno. There is a maximum speed in Innsbruck of 165 knots, so we're going to fly this as NADP1 and maintain the flat 5 speed until we've completed that 180 degree turn in back to Innsbruck, and there's that 165 knot restriction, and then we'll clean up once we're inbound to Innsbruck. So I'll try to remind me to maintain flat 5 for that first turn. Can't believe you didn't set the weather to full on CB all round, Stephen Jenkinson, just to turn it up a notch. Shark Nados are reported in vicinity of destination. What's that? What? Don't know. Cav OK with a cracked windscreen, you imagine. Right, we finished the briefing, guys. We'll get the APU on the bus. We'll tell not better pushback. We prepare for pushback and departure. Does this close all the doors out automatically, the PMDG? I've seen GSX has had no updates recently. GSX was sort of pumping out updates like 5 a week, and I haven't had one for like 2 months now. There we are. Right, they're ready for pushback. Do I have to do anything here, like set the... Oh no, New Sky. Let me just get that set up as well. I always forget to set that up. So New Sky is the client we use for our virtual airline, Alpaca Airways. I can quickly rattle in something whilst we're on stand here. Alright, free flight passengers, Alpaca 7 Lima Lima, LOWI. Oops, didn't like typing that in quickly, did it? LOWI, LERS, Boeing 738, pushing back in, we'll say 04, because you have to do it at least 10 minutes away from your actual time. 1 hour 50, full load of, only 77 passengers available. Oh dear. Oh, must be at least 10 minutes. Alright, 16:05. Not a great load on New Sky, but we'll just imagine we've got a full load of passengers. There we are, New Sky is up and running. Elite Ball Knowledge, Sharknado reference. I have no idea what that is. Is that a terrible movie by the looks of it? Everyone seems to know what it is except me. Isaac, what are the considerations in case of depressurisation or emergency later if we're cruising above high terrain? Be aware of your MORA, minimum off-route altitude, which on this sector is 12,800 feet. So initially, if I was to have an immediate emergency descent for pressurisation, I had to have to stop descent at 12,800, otherwise I'm going to hit something. Great question. Right, we'll select airports on the EFIS. I think I've got to close the doors, or GSX isn't doing anything, is it? So, ground operations, remove the chocks, door management, close all doors. There we are. GSX is doing its thing. The stairs are still attached. Oh no, they're retracting now. Great. What's the situation on the apron? No one else here. Perfect. No one else about to land either. Might have to remove the stairs in the menu. All good, Chuck Bell. I've only just seen your message now. Oh, Transavia's just departing or landing? I think they've just landed, haven't they, off 08. Perfect, they've done the full visual. Alright, so I want to press right even though I want to go left. That's correct, yes? Packs off. Anti-collision light on. Parking brake is released. Transponder out off. Let's go! Slay Mave, yeah, it's a failure every 10 minutes, on average. Sometimes you get more within that, but yeah, we should get 14 independent failures on this sector, if we get that far. No, it was the other option, nose right, of course it was. Right, I'll just stop the pushback then. Yeah, brilliant. I hate this pushback, I get it wrong every single time. Logo light can come on. Starting engine 2. I've aborted it. That'll do. Parking brake set. Can I just say face north, south, east, west, which is what we do every single sector. What is your takeoff alternative? Don't need one. Well, actually would do technically with Innsbruck being such an unsuitable airport. If we have to go somewhere immediately, where have we got near to Innsbruck? I'd want to go north. Munich. We'll take Munich. That would be a great takeoff alternative. Oh, nose wheel's not straight. Never mind. Hopefully I can fix that. It's not letting me do anything at the moment. Alright. Started cut out, monitoring 2, 2463, 2 stable, starting engine number 1. Uh, 737 pilot, you think you're so able to fix that now? Is that you talking about? Oh, that's better pushback system. No, that's better pushback. Ooh, nice base. I'm blocking that Transavia. No, hello, he's parking somewhere else. Head 2, max motoring, oil pressure M1, fuel on. Sorry, GSX pushback. I always call it better pushback. Yeah, if we need a utility like better pushback in Microsoft Flight Sim, that'd be great. Okay, starter cutout, monitoring engine number 1. 2463, 102 stable before taxi flow. Generators on, APU off, start switches, probes, don't need anti-ice, air conditioning, Pax auto. Isolation valve auto. AP bleeds off. Flaps to 5. Flight controls. Full forward. Back. Left. Right. Rudders. Right and left. I'm sporting my same cardigan as the other day and chinos, if you wanted to know. Recall. Blank the lower DU. Before taxi checklist we then read, which we'll imagine is complete. We'll now taxi. And we'll make sure I'm on Unicom here as well. Innsbruck traffic, Alpaca 7, Lima, taxiing to runway 08, departure to the south. Alright, parking brake released. So we're going to have to do a bit of a steep turn here. Config. That's like the nose wheel straightened for me, so we're going to do a sort of steep turn all the way around here. Nose wheel scraping. Get the departure chart here. Great. So I only got thrust on the outboard engine because a little bit too much thrust. Oops, just stop there. You want to go no more than 40, but on a tight turn when you've got the tiller full left or full right, the inboard engine's actually working against you, so you don't actually want to add thrust. There we are, okay. Now we can go straight idle. Before takeoff checklist, config, checked, flaps, 5 in the FMC, 5 here on the indication green light, stab trimmers, 5.4 units set, takeoff briefing, Pax order bleeds on, V-speed set, dry, 37, 39, 47, departure is the Breno 2 Juliet, climbing straight ahead to the Rum NDB, then Oscar Echo Juliet, and then a right turn inbound to the Innsbruck NDB, and then south to Breno, climbing to a flight level 350, EO SID will continue towards Oscar Echo Juliet before proceeding outbound, visually down the valley, climbing to at least, whatever we said the OSA was, 12,000 feet should do. That's reviewed. Cabin secure, checks complete. Taxiway lighting looks so bad. Yeah, I mean, this is a stock airport, guys. Stock airport. Well, it's a SimWorld update airport, but it's better than nothing. I am getting incredible performance, though, in Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. It's capped at 60, and I'm getting 60, which is great. The taxi light's not illuminating enough as well. They should do a lot more than that with the LEDs. Oh, crikey, you're going uphill. There we go. Okie dokie. So, I'll have a little look on the VATSIM traffic. There is no one here. Or on departure on arrival, so we'll line up straight away. And then we'll turn on the failures. John Padford, brilliant. Looks as good as it did on the day it rolled off the factory line, yeah. First ever time I've done one at night as well, or starting off at night. Innsbruck traffic, Alpaca 7 Lima's entry backtrack, runway 08, departure to South Innsbruck. Alright, no ATC, but we've got the headwind there. Turn on the lights, strobes, and MCP, auto throttle, LNAV, weather radar's on. Okay, so that's not looking very bright, the weather. Can't see anything. Transponder TAR8, perfect. So clear right. Clear left. Also got Toby eye tracker all working in the sim again, so I might use this occasionally. It's all set up working, which is good. We're now entering to backtrack. Don't bother holding short or anything. Oh, I didn't need to. I've already said on Unicom we're entering to line up and backtrack. We've already done the before takeoff checklist. And there's no ATC, so no traffic to affect. Alright, so we've got the failures already. All systems Random. Random failures, yes. Just get lined up here. I've got to overcook this a little bit. Go on the grass. It's all good. It's understeering slightly. Oh, I think my rudder pedals are so sensitive. If I put a tiny bit of accidental differential braking, it just grinds it to a halt. Wait, my auto throttle's just disconnected. Great. Why has it done that for? Oh, come on, turn! It won't turn! I've already got a failure, nose wheel steering. There we are. Oh yeah, if it was EMAS, I'd be stuck. End of stream. Bye everyone. Okay, we're lined up, ready to go, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on the brakes. So, maximum permitted phase. Just to show you, look, if I put 60, won't let me do it. Invalid. The maximum amount is 59 in a 10-hour period. 59. Limit events, no. Execute. And I will not look at that screen until I'm on the ground, wherever that is. Alright. Are you ready? Failures are on. Toga's in chat. Let's attempt to go to Reus. Flat tire, hope for. Okay, stabilised. Set takeoff thrust. Alright, 98.4, it's full power. Takeoff thrust, set indications normal. Check to release forward pressure.
V1, rotate.
There we go. And we're airborne. Gears coming up. The brightness of the PFD needs to be sorted. LNAV. Alright, standard SOPs today, command day, and I'm going to bug 165 knots, which is the maximum speed we can fly for that first engine out SID. Sorry, for the, it's just a standard SID departure. So you can see here, maximum speed, 165 knots. Alright, so far so good. Bye bye Innsbruck. Might not have a failure of the seat, you're forced to stand the entire flight. Right, let's turn down the lighting here. Oops. It's better. Jim, do you want me to turn your light down as well? There you go, sir. Alright, so far so good. Set standard. Oops, I keep forgetting I've got my MCP. I could technically go VNAV now. VNAV, because that will manage the speed. Is that, no, it's not got 165 knots there. Why is it commanding 1714? Maybe it commands a margin. Alright, I'll open the speed window and just bug 165. What's the white bug on the speed tape on the PFD? That's V2 plus 20. So that's a nice reference for departure for you to sort of set your... Also, V2 plus 15, not V2 plus 20. It's a nice little reference for departure if you have an engine failure. You just want to limit your speed to that. Fenari, thank you $3. Thank you very much for your donation, sir. Let's see what happens.
First failure. We left with no tomato juice / V8.
V8? What's V8? Is that some sort of American soft drink? I'm not sure. But tomato juice, no. You won't be able to have a Bloody Mary on board. Sorry, everyone. Thank you very much, Mr. Fenari, for your generosity there as I just turned down the simulator. Alright, so we're still flying max speed 165 knots for this turn. I actually don't know what the MSA is in that sector, but I want to make sure that we again just maintain the speed. The 737-800 series has a maximum flap altitude extension of 20,000 feet. That's something you'd have to definitely consider, but you don't want to turn too early because look at all the high terrain there. Oh, V8 is tomato juice, sorry. My apologies, Mr. Ferrari. Hope you're doing well. Flap needles look weird. They look good. Good to me. Probably it was the angle. Alright, so this is the max 165 knots for the turn. Oh, the sounds are fantastic. It's the Boris sound pack. I should be in the cockpit really, monitoring everything. 2020 still got it. I haven't done the after takeoff checklist Sim 737 pilot because at my operator we can only start the after takeoff checklist once the flaps are up. So we're still holding on that. I should check the pressurisation as we pass 10,000 feet, especially today. Diff pressure's 4.2, cabin altitude's climbing, that's all good. Happy to start accelerating now though. Bug up, turn's almost complete. The PMDG 737 is really flying nicely this evening. Okay, speed check flaps 1. Vlad Massey, helicopter, any tips on learning flows? Yes, repetition, repetition, repetition. And approaching the one bug. Flaps up. So last time we did this stream we'd had an engine fire by now. Flaps up, no lights, VNAV's engaged, off, off, star switch is off, air conditioning and pressurisation, diff's okay, 4.5 set, at least the crew, the belts can come off as well. There we are, after takeoff pre-cruise checks are complete. What speed have we got here? Still, yeah, we can delete that because we've finished the turn, execute, so we'll accelerate to 299 knots, so equal climb speed. Sam Jones, when do you release the crew after departure? I know you press attend, but can only do that after flat retraction, after the takeoff checklist. There's nothing prohibiting you from doing it. It's just the flow or the sequence of events, which is that you complete the after takeoff checklist first. Well, I've got VOR. There you are. I think I've already got a failure. VOR receiver. Look, VOR 2. There we are. A failure I'm aware of. Okay. Finish your question. Yeah, so just after the takeoff checklist is complete. Right, VOR2 flag. Let's have a look if VOR1's working. I'm not actually technically using a VOR, but yeah, I've got DME working, so that's all fine. So my VOR2 receiver has failed. No autolands today. Potentially should be okay, but it could be just a VOR receiver, which is a separate system. But yeah, VOR2 flag. There's no, I'm very sure there's no QRH checklist for this. What would that come under? It'd be under flight instrument displays. I'll have a quick look. No, there's no QRH for flags, but we have had a failure of the VOR2 receiver. Alright, we'll continue normal operation. Failure's definitely on. That's good, because sometimes, I think one of them we did had nothing for about 30 minutes, and it's because lots of failures were happening behind the scenes, so things like the loop failures, fire bottle discharge, which wouldn't flag up anything normally. But yeah, we have an evidential failure. Sometimes you can push recall, see if you've got any secondary failures, but we don't have any. Alright, continue normal operation with the VOR2 flag. And I'll get rid of MCP cam as well. Both toilets sit on. There we are. Total list A330-900 failure stream when? I'm not going to do a failure stream later. when I'm flying the Tolis A340. Excess data, stupid thing. But yeah, we'll have to see. Alright, continue normal operation. Keep your eyes open, guys, because you guys are very good at spotting failures that I can sometimes miss. I'm too busy looking at chat. But we're all on our way. Our ETA is an hour and 30 minutes away. But the good news is we're routing south. The terrain is at its highest now. The moor on this sector, as I mentioned, is 12,800 feet. So I've had a pressurisation issue. I'd probably go down to 13,000 feet initially and continue heading south. And then you'd want radar control, which you should be under now, give you minimum altitude clearances. Passing 20,000 feet, check the pressurisation. Diff 6, climbing, cabin altitude sensible at 4,000 feet. It's all configured as required. Alrighty. Scones, does the failures include fuel leaks? I think it does. I think that might be one of the options in the failure thing. One thing it doesn't have any flight control issues, so you can't have issues with flaps, elevators, rudders and ailerons, which is a shame. I'd love that to be added. But it has every perceivable engine failure, so engine separation, engine fire, engine flame out, engine seizure, overheat as well. So yeah, we've had reverser failures after touchdown. Last one we had our first engine failure. All the others have managed to get away without any engine issues, but the sectors I always do around an hour and a half to 2 hours. If it's too short, you can usually get away with it. When it gets sort of beyond an hour and a half, the failures really do rack up. I think the first one we did, I couldn't get the nose gear down, so I had to do a manual gear extension on the nose wheel, but we did get it down. Engine seizure, what's that? It's basically a seizure as it stops spinning. Immediately. Compressor is where the flow of the air is affected. Seizure is, damage to N2, M1, and it physically stops spinning. So you get a loud bang, vibration, exceedance of an EGT, and if you were to get that, you do the memory items for engine fire, severe damage, or separation, which cases all of those different failures. Coffee machine in op. Hopefully that was the next failure. I have to drink bottled water. But if you just tuned in, welcome aboard. 45 minutes into the stream, 11 minutes airborne. We have a failure happening every 10 minutes on this sector, completely independent of each other. We've been airborne for 10 minutes, so I think likely the only failure we have is a failure of the VOR number 2 receiver. So no VOR approaches. Well, you could probably still do a VOR approach using just the one receiver. So you'd still actually be okay. Is annoying first officer simulated? Yes, always. Alright, approaching Nagsav, and then we're sort of escaping the Alps. I mean, there's enough light now to just about see the terrain, but here we are routing southbound. Flying over this Bolzano. Is that a cool little airstrip there? So I've never been there before. But we have Milan as a option now. I think Milan would be a good place to continue. I wouldn't want to do a 180-degree turn and head north over the high terrain again. So if there was anything serious, we'd continue southbound on this heading. Plane Trove says, did you make that repaint? No, I didn't. This livery here is made by one of the many members who spend a lot of their free time making these fantastic liveries for our virtual airline, Alpaca Airways. Hello, Sasha. I did see on Discord that you're going to take part in our group flight this weekend. That's great. I'll update the list as soon as possible. Jim was seen climbing the vertical stabiliser on his walk around. Check his pockets for the antenna. I was wondering what that pointy thing was in his trousers. No, backtrack. I didn't say that. Why did I say that? Right, moving on. 2 tons been stuck in meetings. Any faults of note so far? Yes, the VOR2 receiver has failed. So we still have one receiver available to use. There's not. No. Sasha. Yeah, but if you do clip it, include the question as well. Abby Moore, if you have a VR in up, can you do a VR approach? Yes, you still have the VR1 receiver. Now, this is the thing. When you do a VR approach, we obviously select that in the FMC. But the FMC isn't actually using the VR to actually fly the approach. It's using the approach built into the FMC and LNAV and VNAV. However, you must have tuned and identified the ground-based beacon on which the approach is based on. If the VR is not available, or you can't receive it for whatever reason, you cannot fly the approach, even though the aircraft would have absolutely no issue doing it. That's just the way the rules are. Same with NDB approaches as well. Demonetized for profanity. Would it have been a chime or autopilot disconnect if using VR2 when it happened? Oh no, absolutely not. The autopilot is independent. Now on an auto land, the autopilot can disconnect in certain situations after both autopilots are engaged. For example, you can't arm the second autopilot once you're below 800 feet RA. I can't remember off the top of my head the exact altitude. Rad out, it disconnects as well if you have a failure of the rad out. Hello Sam Jones, when you press approach without ILS tuned it says FAC and glide path. So that's integrated approach navigation, that's not fitted to our fleet. So I don't know much about it. Essentially it treats an RMP approach like you would an ILS. But at my operator we don't select approach for any non-ILS approach. We always select LNAV or VNAV and select LNAV and VNAV minima. Bank angle I've just set to 10 degrees, passing 30,000 feet. Next waypoint's all the way over to Nova, but regarding fuel, still showing 5.3. We have 2.7 on arrival, so I'm quite confident we have no fuel leak. Carl, do you get drift down procedures during the briefing? Because in Europe, the terrain isn't really an issue. The highest Mora we have around the Alps is 17 or 18,200, I think. So the 737, even at max takeoff weight, with an engine failure can maintain an altitude above that. So in Europe, which is all I fly in, Carl Childers, we don't have any drift down procedures. For the guys flying over the Rockies and the Himalayas, they would have specific drift down procedures. So it's not an issue here. No, engine failure, we can just drift down. In this example, look, if we were to have an engine failure, I could maintain 23,300 feet, so not a problem. We've got steel brakes, I think, with the PMDG. You can select both. So Gio says the bank angle thing, shouldn't the automatics be limiting it automatically? Yes, so in LNAV it will limit the bank angle for you. However, if I was to go heading select, it will always comply with the selected angular bank selector, and more often than not, on a typical sector in Europe, where we're under radar control, ATC will give you vectors for separation reasons or for whatever reason really. So you've got to ensure that we set 10, which is to make sure we never exceed a maximum bank angle, because your manoeuvre margins will reduce at higher altitude and your proximity to low and high speed buffet. Michael, do you have overlay approaches in Europe? There's still a few here in the US where you can fly VR approach using GPS if it's stated on the chart. We have a different sort of definition for overlay. So an example of an overlay approach would be, for us, let's imagine at Reus where we're flying into now, there's an NDB approach available. We can actually select a different approach in the FMC, for example an ILS, which has the benefit of having a runway point coded, so you can use the flight director still touchdown. So long as it matches the ILS chart or the NDB waypoints, for example, you can select it. I think your idea of an overlay approach or what you use in America is different, perhaps, but at my operator, that's one thing we do. It's different. Lee Russell, brilliant. Isaac, do you increase the bank angle if getting vectors for traffic? I flew with your operator's SOPs and ATC vectored me away from traffic on the same level. Had the bank angle on 10 and TCAS was triggered. Yeah, we just leave it at 10 degrees. If you start banking beyond 25 degrees, especially above optimum cruise level and maximum, you can get something called Mach buffet, especially at high Mach numbers. So what Mach buffet is, it's part of the airflow over the wing starts going supersonic, and it reduces the angle of attack at which a stall can occur, and you get this sort of vibration. Just reminding you that you can stall at, ladies and gentlemen, any airspeed. It's your critical angle of attack which you can, if it's exceeded, will ensure that you stall. So that's really important that you limit the bank angle at high altitude. Plane travel, you on Twitch as well? No, I stream exclusively on YouTube, so step to date, best thing to do is subscribe as you have done, because I only have subscriber chat on. That's to stop spam chats, which is rife on YouTube at the moment. But if you are in the background and you want to say hello, feel free to subscribe, which will, after 5 minutes, allow you to type in chat, and I'm happy to answer any questions I feel reasonable, which they generally are. Excellent. Sam Jones says, do you change descent speeds? 245 knots crossing except seems slow. Do you ever change it from the crossing except speed? Crossing X6? I would never have used crossing X6 in my life. I don't know what you're talking about. But a little birdie did tell me that it does maintain 245 knots exactly, and that is it is perhaps a descent speed I sometimes fly at my operator every single day. So yes, 245 knots is normal. Cost index in descent is always a fixed descent speed regardless of the outside conditions. I'm just tuning in, who we got here, Milano. 135455, great, he can deal with any problems I've got. Milano, ciao, it's Alpaca 7 Lima Lima, maintaining flight level 350 inbound Innoba. Oh, I just realised my push to talk button is different because I flew a different aeroplane the other day. Hold on. Push to talk, set up, there we are. Flight, there we are. Milano, ciao, it's Alpaca 7 Lima Lima, flight level 350 Innoba.
Alpaca 7 Lima Lima, good day sir, 0402, proceed direct gear.
0402, direct to Igila, Alpaca 7 Lima Lima. 0402 was that, guys. I was just really impressed by his rolling R's there, that I completely forgot what my squawk was. I think that was
Hello, good evening, Remember Middle, this trainer 2601.
Did he say, what was his waypoint? Girona? Has to be.
Ryanair 2601, good day, clear to Palermo, Lagen 1 Whiskey, departure on
What was his
Innsbruck,
waypoint?
5,000 feet.
Has to be
scope 1,000.
Girona. Can't be anything else. Well, I'll have. It's a good shortcut, 400 miles away. Gila! That's not my flight plan.
Whiskey, mission climb is 5,000 and squawk 1,000.
No, it's not that one. Gila is 185 miles away in that direction.
Ryanair 2601, correct, startup approved, QNH
Just realised I
1013.
didn't use my MCP.
Doctor, please approve QNH 1013, Ryanair 2601.
Has to be.
Alpi 342, advisory 1228, bye.
1228, grazie, ciao Luca.
Sam Jones, are there any airports that you know of Europe that
Yeah,
fly
Italia
circus
141,
lands?
please find the
An FMK
traffic.
used to for 28 but now changed.
Italia
So
141,
I've done that
75,
circus land several
02.
times in the past, but it is now an RMP approach. And I've done a stream into it as well. If you use the command exclamation mark destinations, you'll see all of my historic streams and you'll see one into Carcassonne. But no, I've not.
810.
I've been a skipper now for 6 years, never flown a circle.
The Malta 106,
Don't think I will,
descent
because
with
one thing that we have at my operator are something called RNV visual approaches. So basically it's a programmed approach in the FMC replicating a
Negative
circle, which
28
allows us to use
direction.
LNAV and VNAV, so it's unlikely. That's a confirmation, there's only an Ober in Girona. I'm going an Ober, I've decided. Overping, please use to have circles land, it did, now it's RMP altitude 2.
02 Milano, good day, identified, proceed direct Tajib.
No, Sam Jones, it was meant to bring up Nightbot. Is Nightbot been around today? Nightbot! Oh yeah. going to ask the controller now. I'm feeling bad. Alpaca 7 Lima Lima. Just want to confirm the routing. Was that to continue to Innsbruck or route direct to Girona, Golf India Romeo?
Alpaca 7 Lima Lima, you can proceed direct Golf India Romeo.
Thank you, Drake. Golf India Romeo. Alpaca 7 Lima Lima. There we are. Nightbot's not here. That's strange. Oh, there he is.
Tower 2651, ciao a te.
Donna Mosina got the whip
11
out.
o'clock. Descended to 8.
So 23 minutes into the flight.
Advise, correction, TCAS
VOR2. Oh, someone's having a TCAS R8. We're going to put in Endeavour anyway, just for a fuel checker beam. There we are. It's triggering me slightly that this green line isn't at 90 degrees. It should be exactly at 90 and it's not. Why? Look, it's going up. I'd say that's about 85 degrees. My eyes twitching. Oh yeah, Brendan, you're quite right. The cruise we select in one limit continuous. Perfect. Alright, yeah, so 24 minutes in. There should be, on average, 2 failures by now. We definitely have 1, we can see, but I'm unaware of anything else right now. Actually, one of the failures was a failure of Nightbot. Yes, it would seem so. The good news is for me, high terrain has gone. Obviously, I have a little bit of the Alps to the north of Nice and Marseille, but for now we can continue on our present track.
Tower 2651, grazie. Clear
Ray Book, you've flown the Max, yes, several times. Flown the Max more this year than I have the NG. Has the OCD controller unit failed? Yes, that's really triggering me. That should be a nice... Oh. What have I done? That was me, I know it was. Yeah, that's... I'm not happy with that. It's tense, this, because I know something's going to happen. There's no way we're going to get all the way to Reus with nothing else happening.
Canada 290,
Grazie.
direct Golf India Romeo, squawk 0461.
Hello Mark, next major in-flight failure, only pot noodles available in the galley. Lovely. I haven't had a pot noodle for about 15 years. Disgusting. Sim 737 part of the fuel efficiency. Do you have a preference, NG or Max, if you had to choose? The Max now. It's so much quieter, flies really well. Yeah, I'll take the Max any day. Unless it was a 4-sector, sort of short sectors with lots of turnarounds, because the engine start is a long time in the Max.
One Whiskey Papa, good day, sir. Milano, squawk 0403, direct Maluk.
Sam Jones, you've flown into Toulouse. I used to fly there often. Turn on the evening flight back. Always late, typical French baggage handlers. I have been into Toulouse, yes. A long time ago, many years. Flew in. Isaac, does the Max have improvements regarding pilot space, or is it cramped as the engine? It's as cramped as the engine. The cockpit is identical, apart from the displays and a few minor system changes, but the seat position, controls haven't changed. Hello Valley 18, good day, hope you're doing well. Donna Mosina, I was about to ask about the engine starting time, yes, long time of those Elite 1Bs. Pete, thank you, 59 months as a member, almost 5 years. I'm flying on another Chanix 738 next week. It's good of you to simulate how they fly the 30-year-old 738s, wondering what failure they'll have. Brilliant. Chanix do have an old fleet, but it's an incredibly good airline, very, very good. I might know that because I might work with them every single day. You don't know that, but you'll have fun with Chanix. A lot of their 738s are some of the first gen ones.
290, check your standard altimeter. I read 351.
Dynamo, do you fly with the Lufthansa flight to Toulouse? Brilliant. Kodama, how often are failures simulated in the real life sim? Every session? Oh yeah, so every time the guys are in 6 months for their OPC or LPC, yeah, it's a failure galore. Very standardized profile, so there'll be some sort of engine failure or or one with a flame out, one with severe damage or a fire, and then over the period of 3 years we cover all the different systems. That's on a check. We also have a training session annually which looks at all different failures and systems, but one I won't divulge into because obviously I'm aware colleagues might occasionally watch my stream, so I can't go into detail on the check profile for obvious reasons. Hello, Mr. Warren. Hope you're doing well. Just seen you pop up. Fairly well done. You've passed 2 more ATPL exams this week. Congratulations. Very, very well done.
Air Canada 290 now.
I'm going fishing. I feel like more should have happened. I think on the recall, it's all okay here. The only thing I'm aware of is failure of the VOR to receiver. Keep our eyes peeled, guys. It's a long way to go. Quarter of the way. Things like the gear failure, there might be some failures I'm only aware of when I configure the aircraft. We're just off to the south of Milan. There's Milan. APUing up, flapsing up, there you go. I have had it once where we had a lot of failures happen very quickly. I mean, I can see how many failures are active, but do you want me to see how many are active, or are we going to continue until we wait until after we land? One of the bulbs in the overhead panel has popped. Thankfully not a simulated failure. Oh, that was a very brash no. Okay, very good, Sim 737 pilot. And from Christian. Alright, okay. Wait. Let's wait, okay. I want to know. Don't look.
01 taxi holding point Golf, runway 36 via Lima.
Taxi holding point.
Right now it's just like a normal stream, very relaxed. Respectfully, of course. No. Clock it up. I've had that. We've had clock it up, haven't we? You should have the terrain display on, Jim. There we are. Oh, I keep forgetting.
Canada 290, check direct
EFIS
Golf
panel here.
India Romeo.
I never use. Right, okay. Well, we shall continue in this southwesterly direction. The failure reporting system has failed. Still away, Sim 737 pilot. Back next week. Yes, CK Sim Gaming, is it normal to have continuous on? Yes, at my operator we select max continuous thrust in the cruise to ensure that maximum thrust is available in case we get into a low speed situation.
Log D7 Alpha. Runway 35, climb 5.
Hello Ravy Bug, got to do my thing now, have a lovely flight. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day, sir. I've set the view so I can sort of see the entirety of all the displays.
Tower 1721 correct, startup approved, QNH 1013.
Wasn't it? We had a stream and we had an issue with the IRS, one of these failures, and I accidentally moved the IRS to off using the mouse wheel. And then there was a PMDG glitch where I quickly selected nav and it actually maintained alignment, which wouldn't happen in real life. Well, this would be very anticlimactic if we actually get to Reus. This is it. All the failures were, yeah, all the loops on the APU fire and engines.
Swiss 1674, good day. Squawk 1000.
Faults in the standby AC power system, hydraulic system. Would the low DU pop up? Yeah, if any exceedance in a secondary indication. Lost comms would be great for landing if HC is available. No. Squawk 7600. Lee Russell, yeah, change the YouTube title. Perfectly normal fly over the Alps. It's leading you into a false sense of security, yeah, like a dual engine flame out. But right now, everything is ticking along nicely. We'll do a fuel check soon. It'll be in Ober.
Ital 628, good day sir, clear to Samedan, Pepag 1 Alpha, departure
Always
runway
okay.
35, climb 6,000 feet, Skook
Rear ovens
1000.
failed. Do you ever do a hydraulic check in flight? No, don't need to. Very reliable system, but we can do it. The quantity is low, that's normal, because an amount of the system A fluid is holding the gear up. But it's on the uplock now, but that's normal. Pressure's fine.
Swiss 1674, proceed direct Baroque to Victor arrival.
The flight attendants failed to bring me a beer. Yep, these are all very good. Oh, the indicator's still working. Let me just open the window and put my hand out and check. Oh dear. No, it's just this VOR flag. So I'm having a look in the FCOM. It will simply say
112 Milano, clear to Amsterdam,
there's nothing in the QH about VOR flags.
35, climb 6,000 feet, Skook 1,000.
Let's have a little look here.
Take off runway 35, SRN 6,000 for the car, sure, climb 6,000, squawk 1,000,
Find it now.
112.
Daro 112, Arles to Alpha transition.
And Arles to Alpha transition, Daro 112.
Daro 112 correct, startup approved,
I think
QNH
it's all
1013.
in the FCOM.
Perfect, thank you.
The hydraulic is very reliable. Next failure, complete loss of fluid. Number 1 button on the forward microwave is on.
Itaro 1721, pushback.
This has
approved,
been the most
safety stop
uneventful
Charlie, QNH
one we've had
101.
so far. I've always... Well, no. I once did... What was our first one? Wasn't it Madrid to Stansted? And we actually got into Gatwick. I think we diverted to Gatwick because it had depressurisation, didn't we? Which is a good 2-hour sector. So I have had some which have had no issues for some time, and then others have had issues as soon as we took off. That engine, yeah, the last one, New York engine fire, was like 3 minutes after takeoff.
Burn in Magno Golf information Alpha request clearance to Scara.
Drift down less than 3 minutes.
908 Golf
Clogged
station clear
toilets.
to Pescara, Saronno 6 Sierra departure, Vancouver 1 Quebec transition, runway 35 right, climb 4,000 feet, Skook 1,000.
Can you just take in this for the positive?
Wow, good. So far.
Right is down, by the way, Sierra Romeo November 6 Sierra, Vacon 1 Quebec.
Rapid depressurization would be spicy about now. We'd actually be okay, but the terrain does go quite high direct in this direction, so I'd actually make a turn south. So we're going to go back over the Alps again. Mora, as I mentioned, is 12,800.
Runway 35 right for the departure, 4,000 feet initially at Squawk 1,000.
Ryanair 908 Golf, correct, startup approved, QNH 1013.
Startup approved, QNH 1013, Ryanair 908 Golf.
36 minutes in, we should have about 3-4 failures now. May have been really lucky. Give me something to deal with, please. I've never said that in real life. Flying Water, how often do you check Moras, etc. during a flight or situation awareness? You're aware of the highest Mora for the entire sector, which I always write down on a piece of paper in front of me, but let's bring up Navigraph here. It's always at the top, there you go. So most critical Mora, 12,800, maximum shear 08 at Anoba. So it should be some turbulence here, but as we well know, Microsoft Flight Simulator does not record or model turbulence well at all, and when you fly through cloud there's no turbulence modelling at all, so shears of 8 would actually be indications of potentially moderate to severe turbulence, but it won't happen today.
Renate Tango Echo, good day sir, Every 3 Echo, arrival, expect ILS Zulu 35 left, descent flight level 150.
Do pilots ever accidentally leave things in the cockpit? Well, yeah, if you finish work, yeah, you might leave a bottle or something behind. That does happen occasionally. Anyway, look, a beam in Nova. Let's do a little fuel check and time check. We took standard block fuel, so we should have 4.4 tons, which is what we have. We should have burned 2.5, engine used 2.6. We burned about an extra 100 kilos of fuel.
In about
normal. We haven't had any massive
40
shortcuts,
miles,
especially that SID is high fuel burn. And we should have been airborne for 36 minutes, and we've been airborne for 38. So, as expected, fuel check's fine.
3800 Papa, descent flight level 130.
Bill Connolly is a great quote, that is. Both brilliant. Isaac, is it normal that the airspeed bug jumps up and down? Yeah, in Microsoft Flight Simulator you get that with the PMDG and other aircraft. Just sort of these little ups and downs.
Renate 2601, climb flight level 190.
Alright, I keep pushing recall because again, certain failures could be a secondary failure, so it only comes up after a recall. But no, all okay. Nothing. Nothing at all. 40 minutes in. We are going to come over some high terrain again shortly. And Jim's going to keep me posted with all the information about that.
Taxi Charlie Bravo Tango, Tango 135.
Do you want the airports on as well, Jim? There you go. Right, let's continue. Hello, tail order group. You're going to get a flapper symmetry captain. It's way too quiet at the moment. Well, flaps, unfortunately, or flap failures are not modelled with the PMDG. There's no flight control issues, both primary or secondary, so that unfortunately wouldn't happen for me to demonstrate. Yeah, exactly, Walker. So the only failure we are aware of is the amber VOR2 flag, so a failure of the receiver for VOR2. Perfect.
Alpaca 7 Lima Lima, advisory 1228.
Advisory 122 display, Alpaca 7 Lima Lima. Ciao.
Renate Tango Echo.
Okay, over to Unicom, guys. No ATC for us. Probably a good thing. And we'll continue in this direction. Just saying, the Phoenix model's flight control failures. Well, I wouldn't have a clue what to do. What other failures have you had? You must have had 4 by now. So yeah, there are a number of failures, HMS Daring 1, which are under the skin you wouldn't be aware of because they're not monitored. So for example, as I was saying earlier, failures of the fire monitoring system or overheat monitoring system, smoke detectors in the cargo fire hold, which we only do during the fire tests, gear issues, which would only become apparent when we lower the gear, standby power systems. Again, if there's failure of these systems, some of them are only activate or you're made of after you land. So for example, the PSEU light will illuminate. But yeah, historically, having done a number of these streams, we'd have had more failures by now. I've got to the top of climb and we've had like half the displays go and all sorts. I've had display failures, but no, everything is working fine. Well, apart from the VRT receiver, but everything else is fine. Steve Jenkins says, anyone see A330 driver get accused of faking wake turbines in the Beechcraft? I'm not. I don't know. I don't really liaise with 330 driver, but I know he's had a few controversial moments. But he does create some very good content. I mean, flying the this aircraft and the Airbus 330, isn't he? He's now on. Poor Galley Coffee Pot has gone tech, maybe. Are you getting the new Windwing controller of the gear? Is that for the Airbus? Windwing have actually dropped me an email to offer me, I think, some rudder pedals, but I haven't got back to them. Which I might take them up on that offer because I do really enjoy using this MCP, although I do sometimes forget to use it. or forget I have it, and I manipulate everything using the mouse, but that's just after years and years and years of simming without an MCP physically in front of me. Oh, I definitely selected 59 failures, didn't I, in 10 hours? Definitely did. And it definitely is activated, because we've got an 80 failure we're aware of. Now, I would probably have... Oh my goodness me, what's happened? My order follower's just disconnected as well. Right. Number one's rolling back. Great. Okay. My controls, Jim. Okay, drift down procedure. And it's right over the height direct. Oh, this is wonderful. Right. Here we go. So firstly, re-engage the automation. Command B, lower the workload. Alright, max continuous thrust on the remaining engine. Alrighty. So, going to do the drift down procedure. So go to cruise, engine out. It's the left engine out. So 237. So I'm going to set flight level 230. This is the drift down procedure, guys. Oh, no, I forgot I've got the MCP. You then bug 239 knots. So I'm just going to go out hold, bug 239 knots. And what you simply do is let the aircraft decelerate to 239 knots. And once you're there, you can engage level change. So I've actually got oodles of performance. I've got slightly beyond max continuous thrust there. So MCT is 99.1. This is where there could be some differences in modelling, because I've got 99.1 set on the... Oh, hold on, it's come back. Whoa! Engine number 2 is returned from the dead. Right. Okay. Auto throttle. Command A. Blank below to you. What on earth has happened there? Alright, VNav. Wow. So I had a flame out, but it looks like it relit. MCT is set. I was wondering why it was speeding up. I set max continuous thrust on the remaining engine. I was like, why are we accelerating? Right. Very interesting. Alright, let's reset max con. So in this situation, you know, we'd initially declared a pan, we're preparing for a drift down, and now we actually have the engine back. So we'd assess the situation. Right, well, we had the engine spool down. Let's check all the parameters. So, you know, we've got max continuous thrust, so EGTs are in limits, fuel flow's fine, engine. N2's in limits, fuel flow. We have oil pressure, we have a good oil temperature, oil quantity's fine, and no excessive vibration. So, look, this engine is now working. We put this out down to a flame out, but the engine recovered, and continue normal operation. What actually triggered that in the PMDG failure, I have no idea. So, as a precaution, let's have a look at the engine in-flight restart, just to continue and finish that checklist, because, yeah, look, we still need to reconfigure the aircraft's electrical systems. So what I'm going to do is go to the engine APU checklist, and going to go to engine in-flight restart, because none of the engine failure checklists are now relevant. Engine in-flight start 724. Sorry, I can't show this checklist to you because it isn't owned by me. Engine in-flight start, so that's complete. So after the engine in-flight start has completed, engine generator switch affected side, left side on. So we just need to switch to Command B. Question in chat, okay. Why am I going to have to go to Command B before I do the next step? Which I'm going to do now. Left generator on. Pack switch is all in auto. Engine start switch is needed. Off. APU is needed. Off. Transponder TAR array. There we are. Excellent. Yeah, Command A will turn off. So if you close the bus stop breaker on the left side, the generator breaker, it'll disconnect the autopilot. So we always switch sides. All right. Check's complete. So I'd contact main troll or engineering via ACARS, I'd explain what happened. I said, look, we had an engine flame out, but we've been able to restart the engine, or it started on its own. The aircraft will automatically fire all igniters if the engine flames out, and it will try to recover the engine, and I would have mentioned that. And then based off all this information, look, we've got the weather at destination, the aircraft's flying fine on 2 engines, parameters normal. I'd probably, with discussion with my colleague, continue this flight as long as everything's normal, but very much bring operations into that decision making, because let's say Reus isn't a base, they might go, oh, actually, you know, could you divert to Milan because we have engineers there to check the engine. It has flamed out for a reason. We don't know why it has, so you'd be incredibly vigilant. And if my destination was somewhere like Innsbruck or Salzburg, or where there's terrain, I would divert. I'd be like, nope, I've had an engine failure here, I don't know when that's going to happen again. I'm not going to go somewhere that's going to jeopardise the safety of this aircraft. But Reus does have terrain, but it is by the coast, so you know it's not an issue so much there as well. So very interesting to see there. Oh yeah, well spotted. We'll reset the MCP altitude. So, you know, we're getting all ready for the drift down here. So 350 set, LNAV, VNAV. Well spotted there. Very good jump Anfield. Spotting that, and there we are. That was very exciting. I've never seen that before. But there we are. Amazing. Welcome, Nick Gorham. Thanks for your subscription. Check the engine outside for goose splatter. Let's have a look. Put my wing lights on, but you won't see inside it, unfortunately. See if there's any engine bits or dents. All running okay. Wow, I've never seen... I'm really curious after landing, wherever we do end up landing, as to what happened. What caused that to occur? And I was questioning the modelling of the PMDG, because I was like, I had max continuous thrust on the remaining engine. I was accelerating. I was thinking, well, that's not normal. We should be slowing down to our drift down speed. But there we are. Amazing. Do you leave the autopilot on Command B? No, we can actually go back to Command A now, because we've got the left generator on. There we go. Well, we will continue. That was very eventful. Has the failure just... I don't know how that's worked, because when a PMDG failure starts, it doesn't clear itself. Or maybe it does. Maybe it has something where there's a failure when it activates, the engine does recover or reignite. High altitude owl strike. Welcome, Stefano. I hope you're doing well. Right, what's next then? Well, top of descent is 20 minutes away. Hello, Maiden. Welcome on board. As far as we know, VR2 receive it, but we were momentarily without an engine. We were single engine for a period of about a minute, and then it recovered itself just before we started doing a drift down procedure. But yeah, we're fine. The engine's recovered. Bet you got a fright when the magnetic switch flicked. Did you hear it flick off, guys? Yeah, it made me jump. Yeah, maybe it reignited by windmilling. You were faster speeder, perhaps within windmill limits. Yeah, perhaps. I mean, what are we above here? 35,000 feet, 265 knots. I mean, we are outside of the windmill regime. So, you know, anytime your indicated airspeed is above 281 knots, windmill start is the option you choose. So it could well be that there was sufficient airflow or enough air density to keep the engine spinning, and it recovered on its own. But there we are. We shall continue. I need to go for a wee. I don't dare do it. I'll sip what remaining drink I have left. Right, anyway. Perfect. So, continuing in this southwesterly direction, we are just coming overhead Marseille. Is that Lima Fox Mike Lima? So again, that's a good option. Perpignan along the south coast of France, but there is Marseille below us. Halfway through our adventure. No, I'm not pausing the sim. .42 Merv, yes. I might do. Valley, how could we check for fuel leaks? By doing fuel checks. I'm pretty happy. The fuel is balanced both sides, and this is showing 2.7. If it started dropping rapidly, 2.6, 2.5, that would be evidential fact of a fuel leak. An engine fuel, a tank leak on the 7.3 is incredibly unlikely. In fact, I think Boeing go as far as to say somewhere that it's not going to happen. But I think the words they use is it's extremely unlikely. A fuel leak from the engine is still very rare, but it's more likely to happen. And if you were to have a fuel leak, you'd check for any spray by asking the cabin crew, but you'd essentially end up shutting down an engine because the likelihood of it leaking from the strut or some way between the tank and the engine is far higher. The tank itself is yeah, you'd have to have significant damage to the wing for the fuel to leak from a tank. Beverage, would there be a situation where you increase descent rate for higher indicated airspeed to counter the drag caused by windmilling? Yeah, so if you were attempting a windmill start, you'd want to get the indicated airspeed above 281 knots for the NG. You move the engine start switch to flight, and as soon as the N2 is above 11%, which it should be obviously here, you just put the fuel on. So it's likely the N2 was actually at a position where it never got below 11%, and the windmill obviously ignited, start firing off, and the fuel just reignited immediately. I didn't see how far it spooled down, I just saw the engine spooling down. But yeah, there we are. I have to start setting up for the approach. Actually, I might start setting up for the approach now whilst not much is going on. Your controls, Jim. Descent, forecast, let's get the winds in. Alright. Now being inserted. Just turn the sim down here, don't want to see the slide so I can hear that ping up. Thanks, buddy. Found another failure. My individual light over on 23 Foxtrot does not work. Looking forward for next failures to come. Thank you, Don Racina. We'll get you'll get your light working as soon as possible. Is that your reading light? Sorry for the inconvenience. Alright, weather. Cab okay at destination, 16 degrees, 1011. Someone's looking out for me at least for the weather. Execute. Winds are in. And we can preset the QNH 1011 on the EFIS panel. All is okay so far. 1011 preset, which I should have done after top of climb. Let's have a look at this arrival then, which is going to be the Girona to Mike. So coming in from Girona, 250 to 100, checks in the FMC to Iklev, 120 above. That's not coded, so if it's not coded, oh no, it's Burger to Mike, that's why it's not coded. Bulk, 110 to 90 checks. Vibok checks, Villafranca max 226,000 feet. That's the arrival, all coded correctly. Moving on to the ILS, which comes in via Villafranca to Benid on the extended centre line. So for the ILS we have the frequencies 110.1 active, box 1 active, box 2. Course is 248, I can set on the MCP. Eight, 248. Alright, next we have the minimums. Cat C, 440 RVR required 550 metres, so I can set your minimums, 440 feet. Excuse me, 440 feet set, so frequency. Whoa, whoa, what was that? Microsoft Flight Sim is usually very still and steady. Why am I rocking around? Frequencies, courses, minimum set. Backup Reus VOR for the missed approach 11685. My feet are off the rudder. Definitely wasn't rudder. There's no flight control failures modelled, so. Frequency courses. Ah, a master caution has illuminated. Master caution. Doors. aft entry. First things, immediately check the pressurization. The pressurization is fine, okay? So don't panic. Continue normal operation for now, and we'll get the QRH out for doors. Alright. Aeroplane General, Chapter 1. Okie dokie. I've had this in real life. Aft entry. Okay. So it's just entry door in the QRH, which covers all of the doors. And it goes as follows. QRH entry door. Condition. One or more entry doors are not closed and secured. Number 1. Instruct the cabin crew to verify that the door handle is in the closed position, or to move the handle to the closed position if possible. So you'd select service. Push attend. Hello, yes, it's Sam. Listen, the L2 door is showing open. Could you check the handle is in the closed position? Right, now then check if the handle is in the closed position. And if the handle is in the closed position, go to step 3, which we'll imagine is the case. Pressurization is normal, pressurization is not normal. If it's normal, continue normal operation. The door is in a safe configuration. Pressurization is not normal, plan to land at the nearest suitable airport. So look, it's normal, we'll imagine it's there, so it's a sensor issue, so we continue normal operation. There we are, checklist complete. So we're aware of 2 failures plus a brief engine failure. Alright. So yeah, I've had this in real life, and what happened was the handle was stowed, but it was the sensor was very loose, so as soon as it sort of landed, the master caution was sort of going like this, because it kept flicking. The sensor was a bit loose, or I don't know, loose, but it kept flicking, and it was actually it wasn't the aft entry. I can't remember which door it was. I think it was on the front. But yeah, it does happen. You can continue the operation as long as pressurization is normal, and the cabin crew verified that the handle is down and closed. If it's not, we can't continue the flight. We have to divert. But there we are. Another failure dealt with. Continue normal operation. MSA high to the north, west 5,500. But nothing that we can't maintain single engine. So coming in via Villafranca, established on the ILS down to the minimum, so if to go around, I'll push TOGA once, go around flat 15, set ground for us, possible rate of climb, gear up 400 feet, go LNAV, going to make a left turn track 233 until 6.5 DME, the Gulf Point, make a left turn heading 176, once we're on that heading, left direct to the VO on hold. So we'll get to 4,000 feet first and then make a left turn, but we'll probably just reposition for another approach. Okay, fuel, 2.7 still on arrival. We need 2.3 for Barcelona. We took standard block fuel, that gives us about an extra 10 minutes of holding. And we've got a 2,459 metre runway. Let's look at the performance. So performance tool, landing en route, import the latest weather, import aircraft details, which I think takes into account your actual landing weight. Yeah, it must do 62, and this is showing 61.2, so burning 800 kilos or so. Calculate. So flat 30 order brake 3 is 1,700 metres. We'll use that to vacate at Alpha 2. 61. 1. Flap 30. Order brake 3. And we'll use idle reverse to vacate Alpha 2, or if not Alpha 1. Briefing complete. Right. What's next? What do you reckon, chat? What could go wrong? At least guys, you're obsessed with. Oh yeah, they're asking. Yeah, there lots of toilet banter going on. Unbelievable. Yes, people will be eating dinner. Dinner time in the UK. It's very early dinner, Lee. Hello, GHL. Whilst it's quiet, do you have any problems with GSX and Microsoft Flight Sim 2024? Apart from it being a bit glitchy occasionally, no, I've not noticed any issues in 2024 or 2020, both working okay for me. Cabin altitude warning, nope. Good try, good try. I'm still curious as to what happened with the engine, why it flamed out and recovered. I don't know what failure that was. Take care, new 2FS, thanks for popping in. Enjoy the rest of your day, sir. Lee, have an 8-year-old and have survived 2 hours since school finished, saying that dinner will be soon. Brilliant. We've started weaning our daughter now. She's 7 months old and loving food. We've discovered that pureed sweet potato. We had Sunday roast a couple of weeks ago. We pureed all of the Sunday roast, you know, like the stuffing, the chicken, the veg. It was actually quite tasty. Absolutely loved it. Doesn't like peas. Or no, peas and broccoli, and it didn't taste that great. She sort of winced when we popped that into her mouth. But, we'll always to look forward to, haven't I, Lee? Brilliant. Yeah, it was probably an engine flame out, not a stall so much, but yeah, it flamed out briefly, so just an issue with the flow of the air through the engine. But yeah, it's all recovered nicely. We checked all the parameters. I'd be watching this like a hawk now, but yeah, all pressure's fine, all temperature. Again, this will pop up if there's any exceedances or of anything, so you know, all good so far. Door, VORT receiver, temporary engine issue, and they're the only ones we know about. Remember, drop the gear. That gear might not come down. That happened once, remember? Which reminds me, I need to put my fixed rings in. It's cav okay, so I'd usually drop the gear at 4 miles, but I'm going to probably do it at 5 today. Maybe a bit sooner. /10, 5, and what are we at? 35,000 feet, so roughly 105 miles from our destination for top of descent. Okie dokie. So we've only got the doors, which we know about. Great, well, on the nose is Barcelona and Spain. Now at 4 minutes airborne. And we're likely now to make it to Reus in some sort of way. Hello, Low World. Have you got any experience dealing with CAE or Skyball when it comes to flight training? Are they any good? Well, I did my flight training back in 2009 and 2010. Well, no, sorry, 2010, 2011 for the CPLI. And I did that at Oxford Aviation Academy before it was bought out by CAE. So I don't know how they are now. I've not heard of the other flight training school, but I'm sure someone in chat probably would have trained there. We have so many training pilots who come in these days. Sim 737 Pilot 8 dinner late in Spain. I remember when I lived there, yeah, we'd always be eating tapas at 9 o'clock. Never any earlier than that. The door opened as it was the food delivery guy. Brilliant. 36 miles till top of descent. Excuse me. See if everything's alright in the cabin. Yeah, both sky interior is all blue, all the passengers are invisible. Uh-oh. Just having a little bit of a moment there. I'm going to go back in the cockpit where I belong. Don't forget as well, guys, we'll be going live again very late in the UK, 22:30, 10:30 at night, 11:30 for all my friends in Europe as well, for our next overnight stream. I couldn't do it any earlier because I'd have to get up too early. For our next overnight long haul, where we're flying the TOGA A340-600 between Mexico and where are we going? Oh my gosh, Sao Paulo, Victor Charlie Papa to the north, which is where all the F1 freight goes to in real life. It's an 8.5-hour flight. For those of you who are new to the format, I basically take off, go to bed, wake up in the morning, but I'll leave it live time, live weather. It's a night flight as well, taking off in sunset in Mexico. And a very heavy A340. I did a test sector at the elevation of Mexico fully loaded. It was not climbing very well, which you'd expect from a 340-600. Vlad says, how do you calculate that top of descent? 3 times your height, so 35,000 feet. Take the 35, times that by 3, 105 miles. Just gives you good situational awareness as to where the top of descent is. Pash is on the left with the doors open, they had parachutes. It's just Jim and I. Alright. All okay. 20 miles till top of descent. Hello Marcel, to what minimum altitude can you downgrade approach, for example ILS to localise a glide slope out approach band? So you're saying if you're on the approach and the approach got downgraded from ILS to a localiser only, I'd probably break off because it's an opposition approach and rebrief it. With regards to approach bands, that's more RVR related, so if you're flying an ILS, an approach band is enforced when the RVR is below the required RVR for the instrument approach being flown, and that means approach band doesn't prohibit you from flying the approach, but you cannot continue below 1,000 feet above aerodrome elevation. You have to have gone around by then. If you've passed 1,000 feet and the RVR is then reported to be below the minimum required, you can then continue down to your minimums. But prior to that, you must respect the approach band, which is 1,000 feet above aerodrome. It used to be outer marker, but outer marker's pretty much phased out everywhere now. That's a great idea, CK Sim Gaming. 340-600 to Bournemouth. Yeah, this European Praetor variant. Now, there was a Praetor fix for the TOGA A340, but it was I tried installing it. It was outdated. Also, I've not fixed my X-plane issues completely. I'm going to try and fire up the sim way before the stream because I've already wrote to Laminar and in their Discord asking for help now, because for the last 2 or 3 months I just have these sporadic issues where I start a flight and X-plane doesn't load, hangs in the start flight screen, reload the sim, works fine, change nothing. It's just random. Doesn't matter what aircraft I have. I've cleared all plugins and add-ons, but I don't wish to digress too much. But hopefully no issues. I tried launching it. Yes, they didn't work twice. They worked both times, so don't know. Mark King Beverage, when you have a moment, could you check the message you've left on Discord? Yes, I tried to get back to DMs in a few days. Sometimes try and do it on the day, but shouldn't have an issue later. Was that today, or was that an old message? Oh, it's an old message, crikey, because I've just checked there's no message at all. Sometimes the messages can get lost, because if I read the message on Discord DMs, reset MCP, oh gosh, don't, Sim's frozen. No, oof, no it hasn't. Sometimes if I read a message it can get lost in the DMs, so apologies if I missed that. Right, I'm going to descend down to flight level 250 now, and VNAV out, push out into vent. There we are, down we go, top of descent ladies and gentlemen, and we'll contact ATC as well. We've got Barcelona online, 34445. Hey, 134455, there we are. Barcelona, we Buenos, Alpaca 7 Lima Lima, just started descending flight level 250, inbound to Girona for the Girona 2 mic.
Alpaca 7 Lima Lima, Barcelona control, radar contact cleared, Girona 2 mic arrival, expect ILS approach runway 25 and descend flight level 150.
Girona 2 mic, sending flight level 150, expecting ILS 25, Alpaca 7 Lima Lima. Perfect. Hello, AJ Foxy, Pinlets, the party. What's gone wrong so far? We've had an engine failure, which I've managed to recover and continue normal operation. We have a door annunciation, but the pressurization's fine, continue normal operation, and a VOR2 flag. They're the only ones that we're aware of. Remember, as I've discussed already, there's several failures which might not become apparent because it's not monitored by any system.
Clear to the Group 2M arrival for ILS.
All looking okay for now. So VNAV path, maintaining 273 knots.
Consider 12 Bravo, radar contact 2000 feet, climb flight level 190.
Tommy, the fire loops have failed. Would the fire test not work? When you do the fire test, the failed loop will not illuminate the fire line. But we're going to do those tests on the ground. But they have 2 loops, loop A, loop B. So the chance of both failing is incredibly low. You can actually dispatch with 1 loop.
Possible flight direct to Astro.
Sam says, why is the standard bank angle heading slope 25 not 30? Well, 30 is my operator's normal maximum bank angle for commercial operations. So you don't want to set it to that limit. Only time we'd actually adjust it to 30 is if we had a very tight vector or if we're doing a circle. Anyway, we'll set it from 10 to 25 now as we pass 30,000 feet. Marcel says, so for example, if you approach an ILS and you brief that minimum for lock is 200 feet higher and we're still above 500 VMC conditions, but we're not visual to runway, we could continue the approach. Right, read that again, Marcel. Flying an ILS, you brief the minimum for a lock is 200 feet barrow higher. You wouldn't really brief that. If you brief the ILS, you brief the ILS minimums. You wouldn't brief or mention the localizer minimums. But you're still above 500 feet VMC conditions, but we're not visual. I don't understand your question, Marcel, I'm really sorry. But an ILS and localizer only approach are two completely separate different things. One's a precision approach, one's a non-precision approach. The approach minima is purely based off RVR, not height or cloud-based or anything like that. So you'd fly the ILS. If you, for whatever reason, couldn't continue the ILS, let's say a ground-based failure from the glide slope or anything like that, and you weren't VMC, you just go around immediately. But if you were to fly a localizer only approach, you just continue. But your question doesn't make sense, let's say, in regards to what you're asking. So the best way I could describe it is you fly an ILS. If there's anything that prohibits you from then flying that ILS and you're established on that approach and you're in IMC, discontinue the approach and go around. Don't do what Maiden says, just send it. Greg Scott, welcome on board. We have had, as far as we're aware, VR2 receiver failure, an engine failure, which I've managed to restart, and a door annunciation. And here comes another one on cue, master caution. Oh my god, is that all of the probes? I've had a complete failure of all of the left-hand side. This is incredibly unlikely. Like, one maybe, but all of them? Crikey. Good news is we're not flying in IMC and freezing conditions, because that would be interesting. Right, these would fail individually. These would fail individually, not all four. I think this could be a PMDG-ism. So, you know, in sim checks, if I was to fail one of them, I'd fail like the Captain Pitot, and then they consider the implications of airspeed unreliable. But you wouldn't get all of them fail at the same time. Anyway, anti-ice and rain, probe heat 3.6. So 3.6 is either one or more probe heats have failed. Step 1. Avoid icing conditions. Flighting icing conditions may result in erroneous flight instrument indications. End of checklist. Boom. There we are. Checklist complete. Wow, that was a very good route I chose, because what's the temperature in Reus? It's Cav OK and it's 15 degrees. Yay! So yeah, interesting. This is a situation where you wouldn't want to have this going into anywhere with icing conditions, especially like Captain Pitot, airspeed unreliable. It's a horrible situation. Your left elevator Pitot probe, so that's on the vertical stabilizer. This measures the airspeed to control the simulated loading on the elevator field computer. So what you feel on the control column. You've got your alpha vane and temperature probe as well. So yeah, all four like this, unlikely. But could all four probe failures tend to be a systematic of another bigger issue? Could be. You know what, Lindsay? It could be. It could be that there's some issue that's causing all of them on that side to fail. I'd have to dig more into the systems, but again, I think the chances of that incredibly unlikely. But you never know. Descent flight level 120, Alpaca 7 Lima Lima 120 set. Yeah, Roven Yemi, that's a different question. Valleys, did you ever use the obstacle clearance heights and altitudes instead of decision altitudes and decision heights on plates? No, we just used the MDA or DA off the charts. So will the left-hand instruments start showing erroneous areas in icing conditions? Yes, 42 Merv, but if it's clear like this, we should be absolutely fine. Unbelievable. Check Jim's other pockets. Referencing a little crude comment I made without even realising I was making it earlier. Thanks, Sasha, for your donation. Very kind. What is the aft entry? Yes, we've got a loose door handle. We've dealt with that already. Continuing normal operation. Right, what's happened to our path? We've gone low on speed, so it's gone to FMC speeds. That's normal. You can sometimes update it, and it'll update the path. Now our backup path, retard arm. Why is it should go to retard arm now, because we're perfectly on path, on speed, so I don't know why it's adding thrust, doing such a shallow descent. Keep the heading bug updated. Alrighty. Well, got a little bit of a Christmas tree up there. But this has been probably the, apart from the engine failure we had earlier, one of the more uneventful flights so far. Moody, do you happen to be an engineer? It could be your transfer bus controls all these pitot probes plus more. There you go, Moody. Moody 1946 could quite well be an engineer. It goes beyond the scope. So I'm used to being in the back of a full motion simulator and failing these systems independently. There aren't any failures we can select in the level D, which fails all four. Very Moody, that's fantastic input, thank you. We'll see what failures happen after touchdown. Hopefully in Reus in the next 20 minutes.
Dealing Mike Echo, fly direct also clear also to Papa arrival.
Don't jinx it.
Talk to the Papa, direct also for Willing 8.
Put the seatbelt sign on.
North to Reus 03 Yankee November, radar contact 5,000 feet, flying flight level 160.
Yeah, there's so much that the Boeing manuals are very detailed, go into a lot of information, but a lot of the engineering elements are very simplified, so sort of how a lot of the systems are powered, only essential systems we're aware of how they're powered on sort of the hot battery bus, switch hot battery bus, etc. When it comes to sort of each individual system and how it's powered, there isn't any information in the FCOM in relation to that. You could probably dig it deeper in online and find that information, but that's a very interesting point by Moody, that there could be some sort of electrical transfer issue. Ah, Moody, I'm checking a document that shows what all the electrical uses of the aircraft control, each separate item. That specific bus controls all the probe heaters for the left side. What are the systems, Moody, are powered by that bus? And what document is that? Could I have it, please? That sounds really interesting. Is it Bill Buffer's guide by any chance?
After Mulat, clear ILS approach runway 30, report established.
Really interesting. But if it was the bus failure, and I knew what other systems were failed,
336 Lima, descend 3,000 feet.
but I'm obviously, yeah, we failed these independently in the level D when checking the guys out. Very interesting descent we're doing here. It's not an idle path descent, we're doing 1,200 feet per minute. We've thrust up at 270 knots. Interesting. I think the VNAV logic in this could be geometric though, in all phases. ChatGPT is good for that info too. Yes, can be a bit incorrect as well. Generally, I'm not a big fan of using ChatGPT. Rather look it up in an official manual myself. Oh my goodness me. So that same transfer bus controls the anti-collision lights. I don't think the PMDG will be that well modeled. No, both the anti-collision lights are on. Boost pumps, yeah, loads of stuff then. So if that failure was to occur in the real aircraft, we'd have all that here. I don't think it would go into that much detail with PMDG. It's probably under probe failure or something on that side.
Alpaca 7 Lima Lima, descend via star altitude 6,000 feet, QNH 1011.
Send via the Jerome 2 Mike, 6,000 feet, QNH 1011, Alpaca 7 Lima Lima. 6,000 feet set, QNH 1011. And that's set, passing 15,300 for 6,000 feet, standby temperature set.
Descend flight level 120.
Alright, so arrival, star, might as well select it here so you can see what's going on. Jerome 2 Mike. Jerome 2 Mike, that will be ILS Zulu. There we go. So 120 above, next restriction 90 to 110. So my operator, we'd set 90 above, but under radar control. Both wipers in op. That's amazing, Moody. Thank you so much for finding that information. Valid most probable single point failures, AC transfer bus failures. Yeah, if you have a transfer bus failure and all those systems there, and the aircraft's designed to shed load as well. If you have a lack of AC power too. Alrighty. So still descending. No descent path after Vibok. It should be there, 90 above, and then only at 86 by Vibok. I'm just going to delete this temporarily, and it should tell us at what point we should be at bulk. 113. Okay, so it's going to put us a little bit low with the 110 restriction, but
Mike,
it's
Echo
fine.
contact Palma control on 119.155.
Weather radar and up. It's just
$119.155 for
yes,
wing
not
8
working
audio.
or any way of having an accurate weather radar, unfortunately. Alright. It's been a... yeah. As failure flights go, it's been okay. The engine failure was serious, but the fact that we got it restarted was very lucky.
Speed 250 knots for left.
Yeah, Moody's made a good point. If a bus failure is incredibly rare, yeah. It's like what I was saying with the fuel tank leak. You'd have to have some serious structural integrity issues to get a tank fuel leak, as you would do with a bus bar. So physical damage would have to occur. HMS Daring 1, you're actually a fan of these smaller niche failures as opposed to something very big like an engine failure. Yeah, me too. Oh, Sasha, that's a very good point. Yeah, the iFly doesn't model the predicted altitudes. Yeah, that's something that really needs to be looked into because it's really useful when descent planning to see actually where you're going to be if there's restrictions.
Taka 7 Lima Lima, maintain speed 250 knots until Villafranca BR, Victor Lima Alpha.
250 knots till Villafranca, Alpaca 7 Lima Lima. So I'm just going to level change 250. So the aircraft flies at exactly that speed. And Villafranca is 220 knots or below. So I'm just going to go 250. It should have slowed down anyway as we approach the restriction. Actually, I need to be careful here because I want it to keep descending as well. Just a bit high for the restriction. 110 low. I've just got a level change, and we're in 300 feet, that's okay. Let's use a little bit of speed brake just to get back on path here.
Nostrover 03, Yankee November, clear Parut 3 November arrival, expect ILS approach runway 24.
Oh yeah, Moody, you're a colleague of mine, excellent. Oh, we should go flying together. Show me this. Show me this information you have. So that's very interesting. Right, back on path. VNAV should command 250 anyway. Stow the speed brake. Cheers, you gotta go. Hope your gear falls off. Cheers, buddy. Thank you so much. Take care, my friend. Unbelievable.
Buenos Whiskey, Julie, contacte con rodadura 21,7.
Alright, yeah, I need to update descent speed to 250. There we are. Alright, passing 10,000, 6,000 feet post cruise, lights.
3336 Lima, wind 270 degrees,
Logo,
11 knots from
angle bank, set to 25 degrees, pressurization. 4.0 set, belts on recoil. We've got the doors and anti-ice, which we're aware of. No more engine issues, hopefully. Check's complete. Hello, Maiden. Hello, Mr. Flight Sim. My father is watching this from hospital. After a big operation, he just messaged me to say this is what YouTube is for. Thank you. You're most welcome. And father of Maiden 14 Alpha, best of luck with your recovery. Sounds like you've had a bit under the knife. Thank you very much for your support and watching, and hope you're doing well. After Villafranca, cleared ILS 25, we'll call established Alpaca 7 Lima Lima. I presume that was me, I didn't even hear the call sign. Alright.
Poli 5 Whiskey Hotel, Unicorn 28 hasta luego.
Unicorn 28 hasta luego, Poli 5 Whiskey Hotel.
Bolin 23.
Black can be bride for a pint or two after my next sim session. Cheers, Isaac Aviation. Yeah, I've not heard anyone else going into Reus, so I made the assumption it.
Bolin 2312, por su izquierda, rumbo 265.
Alright. MCP cam on.
Por mi izquierda, rumbo 265 y esperamos el LERS Zulu 24, Bolin 2.
Everything's looking okay. Oh, the engine failure. So it doesn't happen again.
Altitude 6,000 feet, QNH 1011.
So we've been cleared the approach, so we can continue stepping down with the procedure. Oh, I've actually got the charts open here. So after Villa Franca, we can step down to 4,000 feet, which is the minimum altitude on that sector after Villa Franca.
Condor 2415 personnel control, good evening, clear to East Midlands as filed via the cam.
If we have no serious failure by landing, can we ever go around? No. I think we should do the return leg just to really test this out. Yeah, with the failure still on whilst I'm on stand. Oh, this aircraft will be AOG after landing. Oh, it's a bit bright, isn't it? Yoke cam. It'll have to do. Can't reach my light. I don't have time, guys. Got to go have dinner with wife, and she's very kindly let me both not only stream it half free this afternoon, but this evening as well.
312, bueno, si va a volar toda la transacción en RNAV no pasa nada, autorizado ILS Zulu 24.
Hour 40, maybe I should have just stretched her out till 2 hours. Right, approaching the decel point. Got glide slope information. Interestingly, not on the right hand side. And the VOR receiver is independent of the ILS receiver instrument. This could, I might not be able to fly an ILS here. See how on the MPS scales I've got glide slope information and here, but none on the right hand side. I think that might prohibit. Approach can be armed, but let's see if it will actually capture the glide slope. If not, I might have to fly an non-precision approach, which would require me to break off, or very quickly set it up. So back on path, and we can now set 4,000 feet, and we're in the decel now. Why is LNAV armed when it's active? That's for the missed approach feature. I will get glide slope information my side. It should still work, and I'll get the glide slope direction here. It would prohibit me from flying an auto land. So let's just see what happens. Right, yeah, help us slow down a bit here. It's on path, but not really done a good job slowing down to 220 knots. Got a good headwind on final though.
6243.
Oh, sorry, did I armor... Sorry, yeah, I need to remember my wing MCP. Speed intervent, bump the up speed. It will stay in path now. Right, approach check's done. I've got India Romeo Sierra, frequencies, courses, minimums all set. 1 to go. After Benid, we can step down to 2,600 feet. Sets. So let's arm approach, see what happens then. Approach armed, vertical speeds, just do a little bit of a CDA. Stow the speed brake. Localizer alive, so that's working. Speed checked. Flat 1.
Jet live 178.
Yeah, we've got localizer. No glide. Look, we've got no localizer information on that side. So that actually would have stayed in the previous roll mode because Vorlock wouldn't engage if there's no localizer side. I've had that before, and the flight directors were giving different information because we had this weird failure where it wouldn't pick up the localizer and glide slope. It came on the approach for some reason. Anyway, it's all looking good so far. Speed check flat 1. Just maintain flat 1 now.
03, Yankee November, descend flight level 80.
Let's have a look. Get glide slope capture. Flaps are at 1, aren't they, as well? Yeah. All good. Glide slope capture, missed approach altitude, 4,000 feet set. Is working right hand side, but again, this should not be. This is a little bug here. We shouldn't get any. Why are we climbing? Come on, go down. We shouldn't get glide slope here because there's no glide slope and localizer information on the left side. It should be in out hold or whatever other modes are engaged. Right, flat 5.
Canada 290, hold over Victor Lima Alpha established.
Alright, we're fully established now.
Canada 290, flight the hold
Oh, it's a
over
sprint quali
Victor
tonight.
Lima Alpha
I just realised as
established.
well my group flight this weekend is at the same time as the race.
Victor Lima Alpha
Alright. The Alpaca 7 Lima fully established. ILS Zulu runway 25.
Alpaca 7 Lima, thank you. The wind 1.
1.
Sorry, I almost choked on my own. The wind 240 degrees to north, runway 25, clear to land.
Take a sip of water, my friend. Runway 25, clear to land. Alpaca 7 Lima.
The glass is empty.
Perfect. Speed check, flap 10.
Vueling 2312, el viento 270 grados 8
ATC failure. Yeah, the next failure was my controller choked on something. Poor guy. Alright. So far, so good. I'm established. Do you engage Command B as well? No, not on the 7-3, unless we're doing an auto land. It's looking very nice at night here, but flaps are all working fine as we'd expect because
Alpaca 7 Lima, altimeter change, QNH 1012.
QNH 1012, Alpaca 7 Lima. There's no flight control failures models. We're high when the flight's been so boring. ATC decides to take measures in his own hands, absolutely. Well, we have had an engine failure today. That was exciting. Recovered.
Vueling 6 Alpha, descienda para nivel de vuelo 200.
Presume all the hydraulics and brakes are working fine as well. See what happens when we drop the gear, guys. Which I'm going to do now. Good out. Flap 15.
Metro SS3, Yankee November, descend, altitude
Let's have a look.
4,000 feet, QNH 1013.
3 green lights. Landing checklist. Start switches. Continuous recall. Let's consider. Aft entry probes.
July 1,
Checked.
fly direct tackle.
Speed brake. Arm green light. Landing gear down 3 green. Order brake set to 3. Speed check flap 30. Can't remember what it said the wind is, but the latest METAR is showing 240 at 2. Flaps 30. 30 green light, lights on, checks complete.
Charlie, Corona Victor, personal control, buenas tardes.
Lucky me! Don't know what's going on with the fix rings on the ND though. Checked. Lucky me. Disconnecting auto throttle. Disconnecting auto
Charlie,
pilot.
Romeo Victor, recibido información actual en Valencia.
Trim's working
Charlie,
fine.
responda en 0,
Engines are responding to my
0, 2,
inputs.
marcha aprobada QNH 1012. En salida espere salida.
Happy
En
days.
salida espere un directo.
This is my sort of failure stream.
Copiado pues con Charlie, QNH 102, respondo 0022 y en
Speed.
salida a punto de andar, salida para la victoria.
Charlie, Corona Victor, crossing.
Alrighty. 500 continue.
Lufthansa 2 Echo Lima, personal control, hello, push and start, approved, QNH 1011, facing west.
I'm scanning a lot more than I would do usually. Everything.
Barcelona del 5
All
Whisky,
looking
cualquier
okay.
recorte más gracias, gracias.
Check.
Vueling 5 Whiskey Golf, sopa nivel de vuelo 290 y vuelo directo Grau.
Grau 790, gracias.
Continue.
Canada 290, I see you're not flying the hold, so
Check.
turn right heading 005.
50, 40, 30,
Check.
20, 10.
Oh, a bit floaty. There we are. Speed brake up. Reverses. That's 75%. 100 knots. Manual braking, auto brake disarm. All fine.
Eco Charlie, Eco Romeo
80
Victor Real,
knots.
punto espera, pista
Catastrophic
3,
reverse.
0, notifica listo salida.
Manual braking. 60 knots. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Reus in one piece. Another successful failure stream. And I got you to your destination this time as well. Are the lights on? Yeah, they're very dim in the PMDG. The taxi lights off, but the fixed landing lights are on.
Alright, that was
Should be a lot brighter.
Action and Mercedes again.
Well, there we are.
Canadian Mercedes negative, you were not clear for approach. I instructed you to hold over Victor Lima Alpha because this airport is a procedural airport, so I could not allow you to go.
Someone's getting a telling off. No gear collapse. Just get our stand number.
Victor Lima Alpha in the next 10 miles for the approach. Maintain 6,000.
We'll let him deal with the person making mistakes first. Transponders off. Oops.
The other station calling second.
Oh, I can't. We'll just taxi towards the left here, stand 1 or stand 2. It's usually where I park. Well, there we are. Let's see what happened when we get to stand there. We'll see what has actually failed. There should be a lot of stuff. This is just stock scenery, guys. Probes come off, one of them's failed obviously. Out off. MCP 4100 cleaned. Wait, hold on. Got a little bit too fast. Stand 2's just here. This is not what Reus looks like at all, but we'll take it. There's no parking stands here available apparently. Brilliant.
North through 03 Yankee November after
I'll just park on stand. He's technically controlling me, but no, I didn't record the landing. I generally forget Microsoft Flight Sim. Too busy looking at this stuff. Let's bring it to a stop there. Oops, didn't start the APU. Well, we could do something else. No APU available, imagine. Well, it's probably actually genuinely not available. I'll try and start it, and then I can do the rest of the cleanup.
Condor 2415.
Right, that's done. Flaps can come up. We need to chat to PMDG and get some more failures, don't we? Flight control issues. Flap issues. I'd love to do some flap issue tutorials, but no 737 model 737 has flap failures. APU seems to be starting. I'm going to put the GPU on so we'll get the engine shut down, but then we'll just see if the APU is working anyway. So chocks on. Oops. Oh, annoying. Set chocks. GPU car. Oh! No, I want that there. Probably takes ages to come up, doesn't it? Taxi lights want to be off as well, yeah. It's an air raid siren I can hear in the background wherever that guy is. IPU's fine. Aircraft's good. 2 blues, 1 red, engine's dead. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Reus in a perfectly working aeroplane. Oh dear. Cab crew doors to manual. Cross check. Squawk standby. 2000. Voice recorder on. ISO valve open. We'll pop the AP bleed on. And verify N2's reducing. And engine 1 and 2, N2's below 20% checked. Activation light off. New sky. Flight complete. Just come off of VATS in there as well. And let's see. Firstly, new sky score. And it actually worked through what actually happened today. Because I was a lucky boy. Hour 42 minutes. We had an engine failure which came back. I'm actually getting master cautions now, look. Hydraulic, no, that's just the engine shutting down. Engine. Low pressure, that's normal. Right then, New Sky, how did I score today? Probably didn't make a huge amount of money, but it goes without saying, a perfect 10 out of 10 performance. I actually made $320 with a flight that was half full, 77 passengers. We'll pocket that. Right then, let's see what happened in the background then. Place your bets. Should have been a fail every 10 minutes. So it should be on average 14 failures. There we go. Ready? 6! So why only 6? It should have been more than that. We're aware of 4, 3? Let's have a look then. Right, doors we know about. Oh, one's just literally happened. 7. Literally happened in front of us. Right, doors we know about. Right, here we go. Fire protection. Okay. Oh, no. How do I see it existing? No. How do I actually see it? Can't remember now. Wheels and brakes. Literally, probably that was what I felt there. Right. I want to just see. There we go. Right. So, fire protection systems. Sup and smoke detector. So, that smoke detector failed. Brilliant. That's my sort of thing. Ooh. I think that one just happened now. Anti-skid failure. Oh, that was lucky, because that requires some careful thinking, so you didn't burst the tyres. VR right failure where? Standby ADI failure? One of these. I think that failed. Great. Temp probe heat. So they called that temperature probe heat failure, which has failed the entire lot on that side. Interesting. So I wasn't aware of the smoke detector, anti-skid normal valve, and the standby ADI failure. The right engine anti-ice valve, again, I wouldn't have been aware of it because we haven't used engine anti-ice for the entire sector because we've been in no icing conditions. So that's good. And then the last one was door to left. Amazing! How lucky was I? If I was to have 6 random failures, they're the ones I'd choose. Fantastic! Just to show you what I could have had. Alright, if I look at all the individual systems, APU. So APU air and severe fire or damage, automatic flight. I could have had auto throttle failure, FCC failures, auto flight system failures. Doors, there'll be all the different doors. Pressure relief, look, I could have had issues with that, and the cargo doors and the air stairs. Electrical, no electrical issues today, but generator failures, drive disconnects, circuit breakers, auxiliary power systems, circuit breakers. There's loads of electrical system failures I could have had, which could have really led to some things happening. I didn't have a single one. Engine failure. Right, what caused that engine failure then? Look, none of these are active. What caused that? Genuinely, what caused the engine failure issue? No clue. None of the failures we have. Engine fire protection was the smoke detector. None of these failures we have are linked to the reason why the engine flamed out. No idea. Flight instrumentation, we could have had display unit failures. The standby ADI failed, great. DU failures. Flight instrumentation, we could have had. Oh yeah, we just looked at that one, haven't we? Fuel issues. So pump failures. Fuel leak is available. Cross-feed valves. Left engine valve, spar valves. That could have caused issues shutting an engine down. Hydraulics. Loss of the hydraulic systems easily possible with fuel leaks, hydraulic leaks. I've never had any hydraulic issue on one of these streams. I need to crank up the flight time, maybe 3 hours. Yeah, maybe I had engine 1 flame out. So yeah, okay. So one of these failures is engine flame out. Maybe you're right, John Padfield. I had a flame out, and a flame out failure you can attempt to restart. And with an engine that's flamed out and it's not damaged, you should have no issue restarting the engine. So possibly that failure activated, and the fact that we were actually at a good speed and the igniter started firing, we've got fuel already still in the idle detemp position, it just immediately restarted. I should think that's the most logical reason, and it just cleared the fault. So many issues I could have had that didn't have. Miscellaneous, transponder, terrain, weather radar, we've had these before. Clocks. Navigation. FMC failures, IRS failures. We're lucky, there's the VR, right? So there you go, look, you got VR receiver, ILS receiver. Now we should have, I think that's a little glitch, with the VR failed, we should have still received the glide slope and localizer information on the right side, because it's a different receiver. Pneumatic pressurisation wheel and brakes was just anti-skid failure, wasn't it? Yeah. Very lucky. Uplock failure. Gear could just come down on its own. Well, there we are. That's it today, and I was incredibly lucky. I can't see a thing on the aeroplane, but no replay, unfortunately. Now, it's been a number of months since we've done this. I'll do another one soon, and maybe I'll crank the flight time up. Instead of 1 hour 40, we'll make it 2.5 hours, just to expose myself to potentially more issues, because I was lucky today. I've had these streams, the last one we did, we had an engine fire 3 minutes after takeoff, boom, and immediately returned, and we landed, end of stream. It was like 45 minutes long. but today we completed a 1 hour 40-minute flight with generally minor issues, the engine flame out being the most exciting one, but obviously with the way it's modelled here, it never fully flamed out, immediately recovered, and we were able to continue normal operations. So very interesting. It was fun, and I know this format's popular, and we'll definitely look again at this soon. Very, very, very good. Right, well, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're watching in the background. Almost up to 99,000 subscribers. I think we'll be hard pushed to get 100 by the end of the year, but you never know. And thank you to everyone that donated. Most generous of you. Don't forget, in approximately, what is it now, 4.5 hours time, I'll be going live again for an overnight flight, the Tolis A340 from Mexico to Sao Paulo. 8.5 hours. Overnight stream, so I will go to bed, and I will rejoin you at 6:30 in the morning for the arrival into Sao Paulo, a nighttime cargo flight. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye bye.